Here we are at Camp Perry. Camp Perry has over 100 years of competitive shooting history. This is the place we strive to perform our best. This is our Super Bowl. This is the place where every year we look forward to coming back to it, and it's the place that has a lot of challenges if you're not prepared for them. At Camp Perry, you'll encounter outdoor elements that you wouldn't find anywhere else. You're not just outside, you're outside in the middle of a gigantic field that's right at the edge of one of the Great Lakes. So wind is the first thing that you're going to experience here. It's always windy, always windy. Very, very seldom will you shoot here where wind won't be an issue. And it's very unusual. You don't encounter this wind anywhere else where most people shoot. Very, very few places. So you have to prepare for that. One of the first things you need to think about is with your pistol box on your bench, you better secure it to the bench. I've got this box secured so that if the whole bench blows over, my box won't fall off. It can get windy enough to blow boxes and benches and everything over. But you do this so your box doesn't blow over. It gives you one less thing to worry about. A strap, a bungee, what have you. This is a Velcro strap that you can buy that works very well. And you can see that it's sort of just a strap you put around it, and it secures your box down to the table. One less thing to have to be thinking about in the middle of a rapid fire string. Another thing you have to think about with the wind is that you're going to be shooting in it, and everyone's trying to avoid that. They want to try to minimize that effect. It's really hard to do. There's really no way to minimize it. Over the years, people have tried to game it by building taller pistol boxes or stacking something and putting their box on what's called like a wind break. You can put your pistol box on either side. You don't have to have it on your side that you see the scope. If you're right-handed, it doesn't need to be on the left, or vice versa. You can put it to where you want, but when you open this box, it can create somewhat of a wind block for you. It's my belief that instead of trying to block your body or anything else, just try to cover the gun. So you block this and you kind of put your pistol behind this as close as you can to kind of keep the wind buffeting down, and it'll help you. But again, you're not going to defeat the wind. It is what it is. You have to simply accept it, shoot around it, change your tactics a little bit. If you try to shoot at Camp Perry the way you shoot at your home range where you never have wind or sun or rain, you're going to be disappointed. You shoot at Camp Perry with Camp Perry techniques, and that's why some of the people, like some of the truly great shooters like Brian Zins, he understands how to shoot in these conditions. This is, you know, his place. He knows the secret. He knows when to speed up. He knows when to slow down. He knows when to shoot multiple shots instead of just single shots and slow fire. All of these things are skills and techniques you need to think about when you come to Camp Perry. You shoot Camp Perry like it's Camp Perry, not like it's your home range. Sometimes if it's a very windy day and you know that it's going to affect your shooting and you have to change your position, if you're normally up here shooting, you may want to widen your stance a little bit. By widening that stance, it gets your arm down a little bit, and it kind of gets you more of a pocket here where you're protected from the wind, whether it's coming from either side. Again, you can move the box from one side to the other to protect you from the wind if you need to. But keep in mind that if you're a tall shooter, maybe you want to go wide, and that'll help you a little bit. Let's talk about shooting in the wind at Camp Perry. It's inevitable. You're going to shoot in the wind. If you're lucky, a lot of times if you're on the first relay, it's fairly calm. But during the national matches, as things are supposed to be set up, everyone shoots on a different relay throughout the week to kind of even it out. So you don't have people always shooting in the morning. Now you'll get people who, you know, try to game it. You get people who try to figure out ways to get on an early relay to try to beat the wind. But, you know, cheaters cheat. That's what they do. So the reality is it's set up so that you basically have to shoot in equal conditions throughout the week so that it's pretty fair. Now, when shooting in the wind at Camp Perry, first of all, you just have to accept it. That's the toughest thing for most people, is they keep going, oh my gosh, it's windy. Oh my gosh, it's windy. Wow, it's blowing my arm all over the place. My gosh, the dot's going all over the place. You're not thinking about shooting when you're thinking about those things. You have your mind and your focus totally on the wrong things. You are going to shoot in the wind. You're going to have to deal with that. You are going to shoot probably degraded scores because of that, because you're not shooting at your home range where it's nice and calm and there's no wind and it's shady and all of that. The reality is you're not at home. You know, there are a lot of people who come to a match and they shoot and they go, wow, man, I mean, I just messed up, you know, my rapid fire in the match, and boy, I can't wait to get to the home range and fix that. Well, sometimes they're having a problem with the competitive aspect of it, because it's the pressure of competition that's causing the problem. And I hate to tell them, but the reality is they don't have a problem shooting rapid fire at their home range. They have a problem shooting rapid fire in a big match because of the pressure. It's not their shooting technique, it's their mental technique that is at fault. Now, shooting at Camp Perry in the wind is very challenging, but it's one of those things that everybody's getting the same wind that you will. My approach to shooting at the wind at Camp Perry is to accept it and do my best within that parameter. I know that I may not shoot cleans at Camp Perry because of the wind, but I might be able to shoot 95s or 96s. My X count might drop, but sometimes when it's really windy, my goal is to keep them in the black. I readjust what I think is an acceptable range of performance considering where I'm at. Obviously, you can't shoot as good standing out in a 15 or 20 mile an hour wind as you can if you're standing, in a nice enclave on concrete and a place that's, got very friendly conditions for you. Now, one of the techniques you can use in slow fire, which what seems to really hurt people, they try to shoot that perfect shot at Camp Perry. They try to just slow down and shoot the best shot. Well, for some shooters that works if the conditions allow it. But what happens when you're shooting in a 25 mile an hour wind? It's so windy that the targets are actually being pulled out of the frames and stretching the rubber bands. Boxers are blowing down. Benches are blowing over. These are all Camp Perry conditions. How do you shoot in those conditions? Well, the reality is you try not to. And what I mean is you try to wait until there's a lull, and then you raise that gun up, or you have it up and you're waiting, and as soon as it drops from 20 miles an hour down to 10 miles an hour, or if you're lucky, 7, you go, now's my chance. And you shoot basically a timed fire cadence, or maybe a rapid fire cadence. I've at times with I remember one match with the 22, we were shooting a team match. I raised the gun 3 times. I shot the first shot, then I raised the gun and I shot 4 more shots, then I changed magazines and I raised the gun again and shot all 5 shots. So by doing that, it basically allowed me to shoot in the small lulls that were there, and I shot a really solid 90-something score, and in those conditions it was a very good day. Sometimes if you change your mindset and you try to shoot a timed or rapid fire case on the long line and you've not practiced that, it could be a train wreck. So my advice is experiment at home when there's not wind and say, well, what would happen if I did raise the gun up and I shoot 2 or 3 shots in a row before I lay it down at slow fire? See what your performance is, see how you react to that. Again, it's about being prepared. One of the important things about shooting at Camp Perry is to recognize that you have to get equipment that's going to do a good job here for you. One of the things that people oftentimes don't think about, when you put your pistol box up, you need to put a clamp here to hold it, or you need to have some kind of mechanism like this box does to lock this in place. Once this is locked down, it's secure. All right, it's not going to blow over and slam down. I've had it happen. I've had a clip blow off. That's why I bought this box, where the screws go in. You're sitting here and you're shooting a rapid fire, and all of a sudden the wind puffs and this clip falls off and this falls down and knocks into your hand, and obviously you're not going to perform your best there. So think about and anticipate the environment, anticipate the elements, and be prepared for them. If it's a torrential downpour rain, just shoot through it. Quit whining about it. Don't think about it. Everybody's getting hit by the same rain as you are. It's the same gust of wind hitting everybody else on your relay. There is a bit of chance involved in this, but the reality is mentally go into this match at Camp Perry saying, look, it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be elements I'm not used to, but I'm prepared for them. I'm anticipating them, and no matter what happens, I'm going to shoot through it. Being aware of what's going on around you is very important. For instance, when you're shooting at Camp Perry and the wind is blowing and it's blowing really strong, you need to be able to discern if it's dropped off a little bit, giving you a slightly better advantage. I'll feel the wind over my arm or over my cheek, and I'll try to anticipate it increasing or decreasing. And when I feel a lull, and I'll try to find a rhythm or a repetition that I'm finding, when I see that every 2 minutes it seems to lull for about 30 seconds, I'll try to anticipate that.